Who's looking for your local business today? Well, the answer might surprise you, so let's get right to it. Now, people are looking for your local business every single day. The question is, are they finding you? Well, let's talk about a few different examples, and I'd like you to think about which one you'd like to be getting business from. The first situation is something you may have experience with if you've been in business for a while, and that's running an ad in the local newspaper. Now, of course, this is where you pay a few $100s at a time to place your classified ad in the newspaper, or even thousands of dollars for a display ad, and hopefully it'll be seen by thousands of people the day it runs. If you're lucky, many will see the ad, but how many will actually be interested at the time? Of course, you're getting the word out about your business, and your ad's going to be seen by a lot of people. It's likely that a small percentage will actually be interested. But that's okay, because if a few people are interested and actually contact you, well, that's a few new clients. Now, hopefully the money that you make from those new clients will make up for the money you spend in advertising. But one of the problems with newspaper advertising is that it counts on people remembering the ad later when they want the service. So let's say, for example, that you run a salon and you offer a coupon in the local paper that offers a few dollars off a hairstyle for new customers. Well, somebody sees your ad and maybe they were thinking of getting their haircut, but they weren't going to do it until next week. So they see the ad, but they're not going to run out to the salon immediately. So you have to count on them remembering your ad the following week when they decide to take the time out of their day to get their haircut, and hopefully they remember where they put the coupon, if they even cut it out at all. Obviously, a few things come up that can really cut down on the effectiveness of your ad in that case. I call this the spray and pray approach because, well, actually it's one of several. We'll get to those later. An additional problem with printed advertising, though, is that it can only display a limited amount of information. And since you're paying by the line, you either reduce the words in your message to the absolute minimum and hope it gets across, or you end up paying hundreds or even thousands of dollars to get a meaningful amount of info into a larger ad. I'm sure you found it frustrating when you only have a limited amount of space to say what it is you want to say, and then, well, it disappears the next day. Oftentimes, you have a lot you could share about your business that people want to know or that people need to know before making the decision to deal with you. So it can be tough to figure out which single thing to focus on to have your ad be effective. I like to compare this to a second situation, and that's internet search. Now, typically, an internet search occurs whenever somebody sits down at the computer and does this. Now, the internet is so huge that when most people are getting online to find something, here's what they do. They use a search engine, like Google, for instance. That's the biggest search engine online these days, so let's use that. Now, if someone's looking for, say, a chiropractor close to them in the town of Oakville, that's pretty well what they'll type in to start with. Now, what we're finding is that most people don't even use the yellow pages anymore. They don't even use the phone book anymore. They just use the internet to find things, so they type in something like chiropractor, Oakville, and what comes up is this. Now, see, there's a list of chiropractors in Oakville. A lot of times you'll see them in a map section here on Google. That's where about 40% of viewers click the first time through in what they call the local business section. Then below that, there's the natural listings, or the organic listings they call them, and about 40% of people go there first. The other 20% might go here in the sponsored links at the top or the sponsored links down the side. It depends on what they're looking for, but over 80% of the people will hit these two areas. Okay, so here the viewer will choose, they choose one they like, click on it, and most of the time they'll end up at that chiropractor's website if they have one. And the good thing is that, there's, instead of being limited by the size of, say, a 3-line ad or a little ad in the phone book, a little ad in the newspaper, you can show a lot more about the business, sure, about your practice. You can show, contact info or promotions that you're having, and you want to change those on a regular basis, by the way. You can show the services you offer, the products you sell, and even show people the value of using those services for their personal situation. They'll see why it applies to them. So you can show pictures and directions. See, there's so much that they can show here that they couldn't do in a small ad. So let's think about this. We've seen that when an internet search happens, visitors can instantly find out more about the business, including hours of operation, phone number, testimonials to see what other people are actually saying about the service, an email address or a contact form, and coupons if they're available, and if they are, well, you want to change them regularly, and much more. So now that we're on the same page, let's talk about what you can do next to get this working for you? Now, first of all, you want to think about cost-effective ways to reach your target audience. Not just anybody, not the spray and pray approach, but reach your target audience. After that, you want to find ways to give them answers they're looking for. Of course, that means you need to know what they're looking for, and then figure out ways to provide those things to your customers so that it's meaningful to them and so that it makes you money too. Then you want to choose the most important message to get across to your customers. A good way to start is to figure out what it is that your customers like best. Chances are, if the customers you already have like those kind of things, other people would really like them too. So that's a message you want to make sure you get out there. When you know what it is your customers like best, then you want to consider, where do they go looking for it? Where do they go to find what you're selling, or to go looking for something they don't even know yet that you offer? And of course, what media you use to get that message across is another decision. Is it paper and printed advertising? Is it online television, commercials, magazines? Is it coupons, trade shows? My gosh, there's so much to choose from. Which one's going to work for your business? Keep in mind that there may be more than one choice there. In fact, there pretty well always is. Then, when you've got answers, or when you've got an idea of what those are, don't wait to get them perfect. Try something. You want to do something every day to bring in new business. Now, upcoming videos in this series will show you things that are working today to get your message out. So you might want to look for those as well, either at this site, or depending on where you're viewing this video, you can contact us at Favorites Club to see more in the series, or if you're not getting the results you want, that's at favoritesclub.com. So be on the lookout for the next video in this series, and let's get your business working for you.